You think you're angry because of them, but you're not. You're angry because of what they touched inside you, a part you never healed. It's not about what they said or did. It's about how deeply it hit something that was already hurting. Something hidden, something old. You don't get angry at strangers for no reason. You get angry when they accidentally press on wounds that have been quietly growing for years. Carl Jung believed that anger is not caused by the outside world. It comes from the inside, from the parts of yourself you don't want to face. He called it the shadow, the hidden side of your personality, the side you reject, deny, or pretend doesn't exist. When someone triggers you, they don't create the anger, they reveal it. They shine a light on something you've been trying to avoid. That's why anger feels so intense. It's personal. It comes from deep within you, not from the person in front of you. Let's say someone insults you. Maybe they call you lazy. If you know deep down that it's not true, you might just shrug it off. But if you secretly fear it's true, if you've been judging yourself for not doing enough, then it stings. You react, not to them, but to the mirror they just held up. This is the hard truth. What bothers you in others often points to something unresolved in yourself, Jung said. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. That means your anger isn't your enemy. It's a message. It's trying to show you something. But most people don't listen. They blame others. They explode or shut down or walk away. But if you never look deeper, you'll keep getting triggered by the same types of people, in the same types of situations, different faces, same pain. You might think avoiding anger is the answer, but that's not the goal. The goal is understanding your anger, owning it, learning from it. Because when you ignore your anger, it doesn't go away, it hides. It shows up in your relationships, in your decisions, in the way you speak to yourself. It poisons your life, quietly. And all the while, you keep thinking the world is making you angry, when really your own shadow is asking to be seen. Jung didn't say this to shame you. He said it to wake you up, to help you realize every time you get angry, you're being given a chance to understand your triggers, a chance to see the beliefs and fears running your life, a chance to stop being controlled by the past. The people who bother you are not enemies, they're mirrors, and if you're brave enough to look, they can show you who you really are and who you still have the power to become. Most people think their anger is about the present moment, but it's not. Anger is often a reaction to unhealed wounds from the past. It's not just about what happened, it's about what it reminds you of. This is why your reactions feel bigger than the situation, why you sometimes overreact to small things, because deep down something inside you is still hurting. Carl Jung explained that the emotions we push down, the sadness, shame, fear, and anger, don't disappear. They live in our unconscious mind, and the unconscious doesn't forget. It waits. Then one day someone says something simple and suddenly you feel rage or hurt or rejection. That's not by accident. That's your unconscious sending a message. These moments are called emotional triggers. Triggers are not just annoying. They are clues. They show you where you are still bleeding. For example, if you feel intense anger, when someone ignores your message, it might not be about that message at all. Maybe it's about how you always felt invisible growing up. Maybe it's about not being chosen. Maybe it touches that part of you that's been screaming, "See? Me, I matter!" for years. Jung believed that true healing begins when we stop blaming others and start asking ourselves why something hurts so much. Most people don't want to do that. It's easier to point fingers. It's easier to say, "They made me feel this way." But here's the truth. Nobody can make you feel anything unless there's something inside you already vulnerable to it. You carry emotional wounds like cracks in a wall. Every time something touches those cracks, you feel pain. But instead of fixing the wall, most people just keep painting over it, pretending it's fine, hoping it'll hold. But it never does. The pain leaks out in your anger, in your silence, in your broken relationships, in your self-hate. And it continues, because the real problem isn't being addressed. Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming whole. And part of that process is facing your pain directly. Instead of asking, "Why did they do that?" ask, "Why did it hurt me so deeply?" Instead of saying, "Oh, they made me angry," ask, "What part of me is still afraid, still insecure, still not healed?" This isn't easy. It takes courage to sit with your anger and listen to it instead of running from it. But when you do, something powerful happens. You start to see your patterns. You notice the same triggers repeating. You realize that your anger is not a curse. It's a compass. It's pointing to the parts of you that need attention, love, and healing. Until you do this work, you'll keep blaming the world. You'll keep getting angry at people who don't even know your story. You'll carry the past into every new day. But when you start asking better questions, you begin to break the cycle. You begin to respond instead of react. You become less controlled by the emotions you don't understand. And slowly, the things that used to bother you no longer have power over you. Some people think mastering anger means never feeling it again. But Carl Jung would say that's not true. You don't become free by erasing your anger. You become free by understanding it, owning it, and choosing how to respond. Anger itself is not the enemy. The real problem is when anger controls you, blinds you, or makes decisions for you. When you don't look at your emotions, they build up like pressure in a bottle. One small moment, one comment, one delay, one disrespect, and you explode. Or maybe you don't explode. Maybe you bury it and smile through it, but inside you feel the weight growing heavier every day. That's not peace, that's suppression. And suppressed anger doesn't go away. It just turns into resentment, bitterness, or self-hate. Carl Jung believed that we must integrate our emotions, not run from them. That means facing the anger, listening to it, understanding what it's trying to show you, and then deciding what to do with it. It means holding your ground without losing control, speaking truth without causing harm, setting boundaries without feeling guilty. That's real power. Think about it. When someone tries to provoke you and you don't react, not because you're scared, not because you're avoiding conflict, but because you see through it, you understand that their behavior has nothing to do with your worth. That's strength. That's when you know your peace isn't dependent on other people anymore. This doesn't mean you become cold or detached. It means you stay rooted in yourself. You stop giving people easy access to your emotions. You stop letting the world pull you in every direction. You stop being a slave to your triggers. That's not being numb. That's being conscious. Jung said that wholeness is not achieved by cutting off parts of yourself, but by embracing them, by bringing the darkness into the light. When you stop fearing your anger, you stop fearing yourself. You begin to trust that you can feel strong emotions without being destroyed by them. You learn to pause, to breathe, to reflect, and in that space you find choice. That's what freedom really is. Not the absence of emotion, but the ability to respond, not react. The ability to stay centered in the middle of chaos, to feel the fire rise and still choose your words, still walk away when necessary, still protect your peace without proving your point. When you reach that place, people can say what they want and it doesn't shake you. Not because you don't care, but because you finally understand who you are. And when you know who you are, no one else gets to decide how you feel. That is what Carl Jung meant when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." But once you make it conscious, once you see it clearly, you stop being a victim of your emotions, you become their master. And that's when you are no longer easily angered. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The world will always test you. People will still be rude. Life will still throw challenges your way. But the difference is, you will not be the same. You won't get pulled into every argument. You won't carry anger for days. You won't break down every time someone disrespects you. Because now you see the pattern. You know what's yours and what's not. You've stopped letting pain lead your life. You've stopped being controlled by invisible wounds. Carl Jung didn't promise an easy life. He promised a real one. A life where you no longer fear your own emotions. A life where your peace is built from self-awareness, not from pretending everything's okay. That kind of strength doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from owning yourself. All of you. The calm, the rage, the doubts, the clarity. You're not supposed to feel nothing. You're supposed to feel deeply but wisely. And when you start doing the work, when you start understanding your triggers, your patterns, your shadow, something powerful happens. The people who used to control your emotions no longer have access. The situations that used to break you now become lessons. You stop reacting and start responding. Not from fear, not from ego, but from clarity. This is not just emotional control. This is freedom. Not the kind you post about. The kind you feel in your body, in your silence, in your strength. The kind of freedom that no one can give you, because it's the kind you give yourself. So the next time you feel the fire rising, pause. Not to avoid it, but to meet it. Ask it what it wants to show you. Ask yourself what's really hurting. And listen. Because that anger isn't just rage. It's your past calling for your attention. It's your unconscious asking to be seen. And the moment you answer it, the moment you face it, that's the moment you take your power back, not by fighting, not by running, but by finally deciding to live as someone who is no longer ruled by the pain of their past. You don't need the world to change. You need to wake up to who you are. And once you do, no one, not a stranger, not a friend, not even your own fear, can make you feel small again. That's when anger loses its power over you. That's when you become untouchable. Before you go, ask yourself this. If today was the only day you had, would you still waste it being angry at things you can't control? Would you still give your power to people who don't even know your story? Or would you finally stop, look inward, and reclaim your peace? If this message spoke to something deep inside you, leave a comment below. I choose peace over anger. Not tomorrow, not someday, today.